the way I got into the business, so to speak, of entertainment, it was in stages. So I didn't start out doing everything at once. You know, from a kid, I wanted to make music, and like as a teenager, you know, I wanted to be a rapper, and that was my focus. And then aside from that, as like a day job, I suppose, I worked with kids. I did youth work, you know, which is why I'm still kind of interested in that now. But everything happened in stages. I was doing my rap, you know, just doing the clubs, PAs, putting out my little mixtapes and stuff, but never on a massive mainstream scale. I had my moments, but nothing big, you know. And 2007, I kind of gave up on that a little bit. Not gave up, but I just couldn't really see how much further I could take it. And I had more responsibilities by then, you know, rent to pay, this, that, and the third, you know. So I started looking at getting a proper job, so to speak. But before that happened, I was fortunate enough to get a phone call from someone I'd met when I was doing music, who'd moved into the world of comedy and was writing comedy scripts for the BBC. And he'd written a sitcom for Lenny Henry. And he called me up and asked if I could come and help out, maybe have a little look at the script, be a kind of script consultant on the dialogue, which is something I'd never ever done before. But he believed in me, said he'd pay me. So I went and had a go, made some changes to the script. They liked the changes. I ended up getting hired for the whole series, and that was my first job in comedy. You know, I started working on other shows for the BBC, just writing gags or writing little songs for the show, theme tunes, that kind of thing. It just escalated from there. Then from there, that's when the producers at the BBC started saying, you know, you can write songs, you can write jokes. How come you don't do stand-up? And I was like, well, it's never occurred to me to do that, you know? But they gave me an opportunity to come and try out at like a private kind of BBC event. I did that a couple times and I quite enjoyed it. Then I started looking at the comedy competition options. I thought it must be like rap, there must be talent competitions, right? And I went in the first one that came up on the Google search, which was So You Think You're Funny, like a nationwide thing. And I ended up getting to the final in that. Lots of industry people. And I started getting work as a jobbing comedian, you know, like £20 a gig, that kind of thing. Real basic stuff, you know. And I just did that solidly for a few years. This is like 2008 now, so 5 years ago. And during that first 3 years, I was gigging all the time, every night, just learning how to get better, learning how to get funnier. And it was during that time I started meeting more and more people from the world of comedy, you know, and I realized that a lot of stand-ups write jokes for TV, right? You know, they write scripts and stuff for TV, or they write for actors or write for other comedians. So I realized there's more to the game than just stand-up, you know? And I had an idea about my experience of working in youth clubs for a kids show. You know, I wanted to do a show about a youth club that had comedy, you know, and had rap music in it, something that could combine all my experience. I took the idea to the contact I had at CBBC, and they went for it. They just wanted to change the setting from a youth club to a school. And that idea ended up getting commissioned. And that was a show called The 4 O'Clock Club, which is now like 3 series in. First series won a BAFTA, and that got me my start in television. So like I'm learning how to act, I'm getting more confident every day. I started going for auditions, got my first dramatic role in an HBO Cinemax thriller called Hunted. I was playing like a killer, something totally different. And you know, that again gave me more confidence, go for more auditions. And now like you're interviewing me here on the set of Law and Order for ITV. I've got like a starring role now, you know, and it's every time it's getting a little bit bigger. So you can see from that sort of long story, it's been very organic. I didn't really, you know, it wasn't like, all right, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It was just like working hard, meeting people, and when the opportunities arose, just going for it, you know. I think that's one of the hardest things. I mean, most of my material is developed on stage. Yeah. So like all my best stuff, I would say, it came from something happening one night where I just felt confident enough to add a little something else, and then the response from the audience is like, wow, okay, that's definitely funny. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever written anything good by just opening a computer with a blank page and going, right, let me do a funny rap about going to the shops, or let me write a joke about this or that. It's never happened like that. There's 2 ways it happens. One is on stage, And the other is like in a conversation like this right now. You know, me and you could have a conversation and something funny, you might say something or I might say something that strikes me as funny, and I might not take that exact thing, but the way you said it, the timing, everything about that, the thing that made me laugh within that real life conversation, I'll take that and apply it to something on stage. So it's I kind of try and keep it natural like that.